out the speed of Whitmore. He's made light work of those who he was fighting with, and he's now right on the back of Christopher Hayes as we cross back here to cart number 19. Beck Connell, one of our lady racers in the field. A good speed shot of Beck as she staves off a challenge. But here we go. We've got cart number 97 and 57 out in front. That, of course, is Hayes versus Whitmore. Whitmore up the inside. He's made the pass stick, and Whitmore takes over the lead, puts his hand in the air and says, come on, guys, let's go. Puts Hayes back to second place. Hayes actually is a fantastic story out of the Gold Coast in Queensland, drives for the Tony Kart organisation and was selected earlier this year to go down to Melbourne to the Melbourne Grand Prix and meet up with Team Vodafone, McLaren Mercedes, of course, world champion Fernando Alonso, Ron Dennis and the phenom of Formula One, Lewis Hamilton. And on top of that, he met up with Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup and has actually established a partnership with Team Vodafone, McLaren Mercedes.
Fantastic. We cannot underestimate the value of karting to the future of elite motorsport. We've talked about it before when we've covered the karts, Matt. This is the nursery for future world champions. Many examples of that in Formula One, here in Australia, in sports such as V8 supercars and many other road racing disciplines, oval track speedway racing. A lot of the best have come from this playground.
Yeah, and with this event being in Sydney, very close to the city, around half an hour out of the Sydney CBD, it's actually attracted a few big names of motorsport out for the weekend. I saw Greg Pee-wee Siddle, one of the best known talent scouts throughout the world, there throughout the weekend. Jeff Hutchinson, a former Formula One journalist. Mark Winterbottom, current FPR factory driver in the V8 Supercar Championship, among many others.
Good to see. Battles all over the place. Kovacic in machine number 2. Here's the scrap for the lead. And as you can see, very intense. Whitmore was just overtaken by the driver of 97, being Christopher Hayes, who led for a considerable amount of laps earlier on. There's the Vodafone logo on the side of the cart.
If you just watch Whitmore here looking over his left-hand side, I believe that he's let Hayes through. He'll sit behind him for a couple of laps. We've only got around 4 laps to go. And I think this is very smart driving by Whitmore to sit behind Hayes and watch what he's doing, see where he's fast, see where he's slow, and set him up for a last lap pass.
Leader sits about mid-track. Sets up for the slide through the left-hander and races down the side of the circuit. Nothing between this pair. They have actually gapped their nearest rival. A fairly big buffer now between second and third. It's probably the first time we've seen that in any final so far today.
Certainly by such a margin. I'm very impressed by Whitmore. I can't tell you how impressed I am by this young guy. Represented Australia in Portugal at the Rotax World Finals last year. The way he constructs his races, he's a real thinking racer and does a great job. And as he's doing at the moment, he's really putting Hayes under some sort of pressure.
Oh, 2 drivers off the circuit. 69 was the first to go. That's Blake Siberis. Another look. And 94 being the other. So 69 and 94.
It's Braden Pritchard, the young guy that we heard from a little bit earlier on. And of course we saw in our previous program Siberis win the Junior National Heavy Australian title.
Christopher Hayes, the leader here, is driving very hard. Up on the inside comes Whitmore to secure the lead once more.
So we're on the final lap, so it all comes down to this. The gloves are off. Hayes straight up the inside of Whitmore. They're side by side. Through the S's they go. They've got around half a lap left remaining of this 1,024 metre Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway. Oh, Whitmore pushes him wide. They go up to the carousel. Hayes looks up the inside, pushes Whitmore. He's gone. They're both gone. They're both gone.
I can't believe what I'm seeing on the Simon Cabling replay. It says it all. Over exuberance. Oh, they'll be filthy.
Well, Hayes has unloaded Whitmore there deluxe. He has unloaded Whitmore like you wouldn't believe, and the big benefactor out of that's going to be Nicholas Foster as he comes across the line and he takes the win from Ben Jerjak. But after the race, Foster was disqualified for an engine infringement, so Jerjak takes the win.
Plenty of people in here today soaking up the action being provided by the Australian Karting Nationals. Next event on the program will be the final for Clubman Super Heavy, and Fulcher and Simpson to start on the front row, Stania and Higgs on the second row. One of the smaller fields actually this weekend doing battle in this final with 22 combatants on the grid. Earlier today we spoke with Dean Oven seeking his thoughts on today's event.
Dean, you're a former champion in this class. Coming into Eastern Creek, you're no doubt hoping to reclaim that title.
Certainly would like. It's been a 2-year battle with Scott for the last 2 years trying to get it back. This year hopefully we can get it.
And how's it going for you here at Eastern Creek?
With the weather conditions the way they've been, it's been very difficult. It's one of those tracks, you know, it's either on or off depending on the weather.
All right, here we go. It's green flag time in the Clubman Super Heavy Final, Eastern Creek Raceway. The 2007 Karting Nationals with Fulcher and Simpson sharing the front row, and here they come the first time, and they run nose to tail. And Fulcher, you'll find, is at the head of this pack.
Yeah, the big fellas out to strut their stuff. Minimum weight of 180 kilos in this class. Ryan Fulcher out of Bundaberg in Queensland leads away in front of his fellow Queenslander Scotty Simpson, who is the defending champion.
So a good battle developing up front between Fulcher and Simpson. And here they come through the left-hander in Clubman Super Heavy.
Yeah, this is one of the most keenly contested classes out there. So we see Simpson pushes Fulcher wide, tries to take advantage across the seam on replay.
You see that Stania takes full advantage of it. That's him in 5 up on the inside to take the lead. Gee, Fulcher did well to save that. He was crossed up like he was driving a Speedway midget. And we've got 5 drivers up front battling for the lead in very close proximity. Stania the leader in 5, 23 is second. That's Paul Rydek. And third on the circuit currently is Anthony Higgs in 6, although he now finds himself under increasing pressure from Ryan Fulcher as they come down the main section of this circuit.
Oh, Rydek slides it in there, Mr. 100%, and gives nothing less. The well-renowned engine builder is Paul as he comes under pressure from Scotty Simpson in kart number 1. He's got the 55 right behind him, and that's Dean Oven in the ELN Ford entry.
Some lovely speed shots there, particularly of Scott Simpson in full flight. Oh, gee whiz. We're having some nightmares out there. It's Rydek who decided to go motocrossing. You can see it.
Didn't lift his foot off the accelerator once.
On the Simon cabling replay. Our leader, meanwhile, Matt, has opened up a pretty comfortable break.
Yeah, he's been able to open up a little bit of a gap. Pretty unusual. Of course, all of these competitors using the Yamaha KT100S engine and MG red tyres as we see Simpson go through underneath Stania and take over the lead, so the defending national champion swings to the lead.
Indeed he does, and starts to pull away too. Gap about 10 metres between first and second now. Here they come again. Just as I say that, Stania closes up the gap somewhat. Rydek in 23 leads that battle you're looking at now. 55, Dean Oven, whom we heard from at the start of this race, comes next on the circuit ahead of Anthony Higgs. Very quick part of the circuit there. They come through that left-hander, almost flat stick.
I was going to say Dean Oven, the Oven family have a fair involvement in the sport. His father Neil's actually the clerk of course this weekend.
Look at this racing, will you? The karts never fail to entertain. And an incident there, which the drivers will remember.
It's David Knight in the 24 Beryl kart, getting ridden over the top of by, looks to be the 90 Nigel Stones possibly.
Yes, it is. You got it right, Matt. Again, as is consistently the case, irrespective of class in this sport, the presentation of the teams is outstanding. Hard to know where to look. There's battles raging all over the place.
Yeah, we just saw Jason Connolly. He's one of the local competitors here in Sydney. Just try and make his way through. Oven gets a little bit crossed up onto the front straightaway. Still pressuring Rydek as they go through turn 1 and 2. They just blast past Stania in that Phoenix kart like he was standing still.
And you mentioned the name Phoenix. We should mention to perhaps the uninitiated watching our coverage that the battle between the manufacturers of these karts is every bit as intense as the battle on the track by drivers.
Most definitely. You'll find that a lot of the chassis out there are Italian constructed chassis. The chassis of Oven, the CRG, is an Italian chassis. The Phoenix that we made mention of is an Australian chassis built down in Melbourne. Of course, you've got the more popular makes like Arrow, another Melbourne-based chassis. And yeah, as you say, the battle is quite intense.
Simpson is your race leader. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 2007 Simon Cabling Australian Karting Nationals, coming to you from Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway, arguably the best karting facility in the nation. Racetrack here, 1,024 metres, touch over 1 kilometre, makes it one of the biggest circuits in the country. And this Eastern Creek Motorsports Centre is just an ever-increasing project. Everywhere you look, they're building something new. It's going to be some facility in the years ahead.
Fulcher trying to make amends for that earlier incident, pushing his way through on the 6th there of Higgs. Couldn't quite make the move stick just yet. And another man who's starting to make his presence felt in the field is the 88, Stephen Engel. One of the people who was instrumental in getting this event on.
Here's Dean Oven up on the inside of Jason Stanier. Stanier said, "You're not going to do it this time." Trying a lap or two. If anything, Stanier jumped away, used it as added motivation when he saw the nose of the other driver's cart coming down on the inside. Good battle though. Rydek is also there in 23, as you can see. Nose to tail they charge.
Have to spare a thought for our leader, who's well and truly out in front, as we see the 68 there, Matthew Lawton. One of the West Australian competitors made the trek across to Sydney for this event.
That's a reflection of the commitment in the sport. Almost 450 competitors turning out this weekend at Eastern Creek, attempting to qualify for the final in their respective class. Rydek, meanwhile, in 23, goes to the front of this pack.
Of course, spare a thought for our leader, Scotty Simpson. Look at the lead that he's opened up. He's probably got a 200-metre lead at the moment over Rydek in second place. No doubt Jason Burns, a Red Speed team manager, would have dialed in a pretty hot setting into that Red Speed kart for Scotty Simpson.
It's the first time we've seen a leader do the bold, isn't it? This weekend.
Yeah, yep.
The 5 finals that we showed you on part 1 of our coverage. Every race an absolute thriller. We expected more of the same here today. The battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th here is worth the price of admission though.
Fulcher there in 39. He is a current state champion in this class, of course, wearing the blue plate as we cross back to our defending national champion. As I was saying about Fulcher, out of Bundaberg in Queensland, drives for Kel Tressider's Kel's Karts and Parts team. Those two do a fantastic job for the sport. Kel has the top kart and Arrow dealership in the Bundaberg region. They're very passionate about the sport, and you'll see them at all the major events.
There's your leader and defending national title holder Scotty Simpson on his way to victory in the final of Clubman Super Heavy. The only thing that's going to stop him is if he gets caught up in somebody else's problems or unforeseen mechanical problems, because he is superior. Rydek is 2nd in 23. Next on the circuit, Dean Oven.
Just resting his hand there as he heads up to the carousel, winding down the laps. This battle for 2nd is far from over though. The 23 looks over his shoulder. Rydek, he still holds that down. Then Dean Oven just gets passed by Fulcher as Simpson goes across the line. The laps beginning to wind down in this one.
Well, they are, and the thing he needs to contend with here is terminal boredom. Not involved in a battle with anybody, just keep concentrating, son.
He's doing a good job. Bit of a family affair too. A change of chassis earlier this year for Scotty Simpson. His sister Jenna, of course, going out with Red Speed importer Jason Burns, formerly with the CRG camp, but went across only for family reasons to the Red Speed
Oh, there's
team.
nothing you don't know about karting, is there? Do you even know who's going out with who?
Don't know about that. As we come up here, Fulcher and Rydek.
You walked in with a pretty good sort yourself today.
I did indeed.
Oh,
Fulcher and
another two
Rydek
off.
take each other out. Very unhappy is Fulcher. Could be a bit of action here as he goes up. Bit of a word to Rydek. Rydek won't take a backward step to Fulcher, the Queenslander. Here we go. Fulcher pushed him wide and Rydek was having absolutely none of it. And the end result is they're both sitting in the kitty litter.
Oh, it is. The tempers fraying. There'll be some words exchanged early in the evening, you'd imagine.
Cross now to Stephen Engel, cart number 88. He is a former double national champion in Clubman Super Heavy. He won Clubman Super Heavy on the tar and then backed that up in the same year by winning it on the dirt. So Engel, of course, as we said, one of the people that was instrumental in us getting to Eastern Creek here this weekend to cover this event.
Yeah, we're certainly grateful for Steve's support, along with a number of others.
Yeah, of course, Damon Lyons from Simon Cabling, Janet Lindbaum, Pam Matthews, Peter Galvin, Gary Parsons from the North Shore Kart Club. Those guys have done a fantastic job in allowing us to be here. As Engel looks up the inside of Stanier, I think that's for second placing, and he'd be very happy to stand on the podium at the end of this one if he could, given that he's put so much into this event over the last 18 months.
Wouldn't he what? Simpson the leader. Engel is cutting loose a little further back though. There he is in the black overalls, and good to see. Looking pretty sharp through the right and then equally through the left-hand turn.
It's pretty much wedged into that top card as well as across Simpson's onto his last lap.
So not far to go before Simpson claims another national championship crown. Been a Will perfect performance by him. And about